Marching forward, Iowa advances to the Sweet 16 after defeating a strong defense.
Politics hit Iowa City, a Monday packed with speeches, protesters, and Chuck Grassley. Advocating for accessibility, Iowa City deaf community encourages ASL accessibility in healthcare.
The rain and clouds are taking a break in Iowa City. I'll tell you more about the forecasted sunny day we have in store.
All that and more
coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Wednesday, March 27th, and I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And I'm Colin Carruthers.
And the third member of our team, Avery Ahrens, is live outside to tell us today's weather story.
Avery, are we going to have another chilly day here in Iowa City?
Yeah, guys, it's been a chilly week so far with winds and cloudy skies, but if you're looking for sunshine, you're in luck, as we are expecting a sunny day in Iowa City. I am live downtown where it is currently 26 degrees. Later today, it'll be a windy 45 degrees with temperatures dropping to 26 tonight. Tomorrow, the cloudy skies will return with the temperature rising to around 56 degrees with partly cloudy skies throughout the day. I'll be back with the rest of the weather for this week.
Thanks, Avery. The Iowa women's basketball team hosted the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament over the weekend. They defeated Holy Cross on Saturday, but on Monday, they had the chance to advance to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's right, Hannah. They played West Virginia in what was also Caitlin Clark's final home game. AJ Reeser and Brady Barron were at the game and have more on the big night.
The Iowa Hawkeyes survived round 2 of the NCAA tournament against the West Virginia Mountaineers, and they are headed to the Sweet 16. And AJ, West Virginia gave Iowa all they could handle on defense.
That's right, Brady. The story coming to the game today was the Mountaineers' full court press and their aggressiveness on defense. At points during the game, it was tough for Iowa to even buy a bucket.
We were trying to score in one or two passes. So when we settled, then that went a little bit better, but they're just a really good defensive team. We just couldn't buy some buckets either, but you're a little tired because they make you work so doggone hard. But I just thought, the will, and we settled. We only had 6 turnovers that second half, and they forced 24.
But I think we really stayed together and trusted each other and passed through the press instead of trying to take it one-on-one. And I think that's how we ended up breaking it.
Iowa's offense may have been stifled, but it was their defense that stepped up in the big moments.
This might have been our lowest field goal percentage that we've ever won a game with. We found a way to win in a different way, and we won with our defense tonight.
That our offense wasn't stellar by any means tonight, but I'm just so proud of our group. Our defense was really phenomenal, and I know we'll get right back to it. It's kind of an anomaly, and that's what happens sometimes. But you got to be gritty and find a way to win, and that's exactly what this team did.
And with this being the seniors' last game in Carver Hawkeye Arena, there were plenty of emotions going around after the hard-fought victory.
I'm feeling all the emotions right now, and just I can't really look at them because I'm just thinking about all the memories that we made out there together. And I mean, it's been an incredible 5 years playing in Carver every single night, and the fans are amazing, and I will just never forget it.
I mean, aside from basketball, they're my best friends, and ever since I was a freshman, they were role models to me, and they were there for me ever since I stepped on campus, and I love them so much, and I'm glad that we could get the win for them.
I hope there's a lot of times where I can come back and be in the crowd at sold-out Carver Hawkeye Arena cheering for, young girls that want to be like us.
Iowa will get a bit of a rest as they won't play until Saturday in what will be a rematch of last year's Sweet 16 against the Colorado Buffaloes. From Carver Hawkeye Arena, Brady Barron,
AJ Reister, DITV Sports.
A bill to change Iowa's Area Education Agencies, or AEAs, passed through the Senate on Tuesday. The bill passed after months of negotiations between the Iowa House, Senate, and Governor Kim Reynolds. Under the new bill, AEAs will keep 90% of their funding, while 10% will now be given to school districts for their own purposes. Also part of the bill is an increase for salary for beginner teachers from $33,000 to $50,000. The bill was highly controversial, passing 30-18 in the Senate, with all Democrats and 3 Republicans voting against it.
Worse for our kids, it's worse for our school districts, and it's really going to hurt a lot of your rural districts.
I'm glad that with Senator Rosenbaum and Senator Evans' efforts,
They came up with something far greater than I could have.
Governor Kim Reynolds is expected to sign the bill into law in the coming days. Speeches, chants, and Chuck. Multiple political events took place on Monday, and we have DITV's Johnny Valtman, Jordan Tovar, and Jace Bertrand with team coverages from the talks. Shouts and Senator.
The Young Americans for Freedom at the University of Iowa's newest guest speaker made her way to the Iowa Memorial Union with an anticipation of a large crowd, but when the doors closed, only around 60 people were in the Black Box Theater.
Like this, having more protesters come in, sit in our events, and then also, getting to engage more in Q&A.
Scanlene is a former collegiate swimmer who was teammates of a trans athlete. Her argument against trans athletes in sports involves the uncomfortable feelings of female athletes around former men, the alleged competitive disadvantages created by transgender individuals, and Scanlene's belief that men are men and women are women.
It is a very long, prolonged, vulnerable experience where you are completely naked, and to introduce men into that situation is unacceptable.
Ultimately, the message she is preaching is the one of, how God created the world.
Protesters were present inside the event, jeering at what they didn't agree with, correcting the pronouns of transgender individuals mentioned, and testing Scanlene's opinions on the topic during the Q&A.
The most exciting Q&A that we've had. So it was really cool to hear and be a part of that.
And while Scanlene talked here in the Black Box Theater, protesters began to arrive outside. That's where Jordan Tovar is, where he is learning more about the protest.
I'm here outside the Iowa Memorial Union, where protesters have gathered against YAF Speaker Paula Scanlene, even on a cold and rainy night like this.
Luckily, it's kind of died down a little bit, but just because, honestly, we can't allow people who are going to just obviously try to be like, oh, these people shouldn't exist or don't exist, to just continue speaking like that.
The organizer of the protest wanted to keep things peaceful as compared to previous events so their voice could be heard.
I wanted us to just be able to have our message and tell our message to everybody without getting cops involved, without it getting violent or reckless.
As night fell, so did more rain, but demonstrators didn't want to let it wash out their messages of support for trans people.
The university upholds love and respect, and I just feel like for there to be giving them a platform for hateful speaker just doesn't uphold what's in the conduct.
Now the event has ended and protesters have dispersed, but elsewhere in Iowa City, more political events were going on. So I'll send it over to DITV's Jace Bertrand, who interviewed Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley.
Senator Chuck Grassley made a stop in Iowa City as part of his yearly goal to visit all 99 counties in Iowa.
Government's supposed to be a service for the American people, and you can't serve the American people if you aren't in business.
For this year's visit, Grassley met with members of Greater IC Inc., a coalition of over 180 businesses and interest groups in the Iowa City area. Meeting here at the Merge building, Senator Grassley and members of Greater IC Incorporated discussed a wide variety of topics, from immigration to budget to Social Security. At the private meeting, Greater IC board members were given a chance to share their concerns and hopes for Iowa's future.
I really appreciated that he was willing to do that, but also and not shy away from tough topics or the challenges in Washington.
Grassley plans to take these discussions into consideration when he returns to work in Washington. From the Merge building in downtown Iowa City, Jace Bertrand, DITV.
Thank you, guys. Multiple real estate sites are now showing Mayflower is no longer on the market. This comes after the university put it on sale last February. Now, Mayflower will continue to be used by the university, and they are considering adding additional services in the building for next school year. A record level of housing applications have been submitted for the 2024-2025 school year, so Mayflower space will be needed. And university student government is holding their annual elections. DITV's Kayla Smith has been following candidates through their campaigning and has insight on what it takes to run for office.
I'm here inside of the IMU where student voters have been casting ballots for the USG elections.
Voters are deciding between JB and Noah or A and B for the executive office. The two sets of candidates are focusing on ways to listen to their student voters and their needs. Jaden Bartlett, known as JB, is running for president with Noah Lefevre as his running mate. The two juniors are urging voters to help Iowa City to grow.
We want students to have fair compensation for their wages. We want them to feel safe downtown when walking home, and we want them to feel safe when they are seeking out resources when they've experienced violence.
Running against Bartlett and Lefevre, presidential candidate Addison Eckerd and her running mate Brenda Ramirez, together known as A&B, are hoping to engage, innovate, and sustain.
One thing we want to do is make long-lasting relationships between USG and student orgs and make it an approachable organization.
Both executive tickets have utilized campaigning tools such as tabling and chalk art to share their campaign messages to students on campus. Both have also used social media to further their message away from campus. JB and Noah have utilized this approach with the help of their graphic design manager, Weston, who helped the pair formulate informative posts and videos.
Instagram has been one of our greatest aspects. That's where you can see Weston and JB's amazing graphic design ability.
With the help of their videographer and friends, A&B also used a strong social media campaign with inspiration from online trends.
When it comes to social media, I think numbers are really important, but also engaging with students through the social media is also very, very important.
Voting ends tonight at 5 p.m. You can vote either in person at the IMU or online at MyUI. From the IMU, this is Kayla Smith, DITV.
Thanks, Kayla. A safe space for curious minds. The University of Iowa is offering a class on the history and current events of Israel and Palestine. The course brings in lecturers from Iowa and other universities in various fields. With such a complex topic, people don't always feel comfortable asking questions.
This class is create a space where it's okay to say, I'm not sure I really understand this.
Understanding, yeah.
This course is part of a series of rapid response off-cycle course and is only 7 weeks long. The instructors feel it is important for people to be able to be informed on this topic as the conflict continues. And coming up later, a new contest is starting exclusively for Iowans.
But first, let's take a look back outside with DITV's Avery Ahrens for the forecast for the week ahead.
Thanks, Hannah. While the weather may be dipping today, look for temperatures to start slowly rising over the next few days. We have some cloudy and partly cloudy days ahead, with temperatures hitting the mid 50 degrees on Thursday and low 60 degrees on Friday. You can expect to see some showers over the weekend, with temperatures still in the 60s. And keep an eye out for a hawk alert around 10 a.m. today for Severe Weather Awareness Week. This is just a test for Iowa City students and residents, and there is no projected severe weather for the upcoming week. Back to you in the studio.
The community of Hills was rocked last night after a big decision was made. Hills is a small Johnson County town just south of Iowa City, and DIT reporter Kara Doolin explains what this change means.
126 students in the Iowa City Community School District will be headed to new schools in the fall, as Hills Elementary School will be closed permanently at the end of the year. The unanimous decision was reached by ICCSD board members, despite pleas from community members not to close the school.
Those children are each other's family. They support each other, they take care of each other, they know each other.
Members of the Latino community in Hills were particularly concerned because they're worried their students won't find the same resources and community at other schools.
Esta noche el Distrito Escolar de Iowa sí tiene la oportunidad de cambiar el futuro, no solo de la comunidad latina, pero también de la comunidad entera de Hills.
The district projects they'll save about $1.6 million in the next fiscal year by closing Hills. Students will be bused to nearby schools, but as of yet, there is no solid plan on how that's going to happen. From the ICCSD building, Kara Doolin, DITV.
Thanks, Kara. Iowa football spring season is now underway. Head coach Kirk Ferentz says this period is all about growth and development, especially when it comes to the QBs. Coach Ferentz said they all need to improve and that the depth chart currently holds very little weight. This will be important as new offensive coordinator Tim Lester begins to implement his offense.
The transition's going really smoothly and thus far very, very positive. We're trying to install something each and every day. It's been challenging, I think, for everybody, myself included, just learning the language.
Coach Ferentz also brought up the transfer portal and NIL, stating that he's not against either, but did believe the system on both accounts is flawed. And another legendary Iowa head coach, Lisa Bluter, has been listed as a finalist for the Naismith Coach of the Year. Bluter went back-to-back with Coach of the Year nominations, with her winning the award back in 2019. She will be up against last year's recipient, South Carolina's Dawn Staley, as well as USC's Lindsey Gottlieb and Stanford's Tara Vanderveer for the award. After the season closed for Iowa men's basketball on Sunday, senior guard Tony Perkins has officially entered the transfer portal. He'll be entering the portal with 1 year left of eligibility. Perkins averaged 14 points and 4.6 assists per game this year. He has interest from multiple Power 5 teams, including Big Ten rivals Nebraska and Indiana. Perkins is the second guard from Iowa to enter the portal, following DeSante Bowen.
The growing language. The ASL Club hosted a panel last night in the Iowa Memorial Union. DITV's Tara Gillespie shows us how the deaf community is advocating for more accessibility.
American Sign Language and its awareness has grown nationally. Just recently, the entire Barbie movie has an ASL translation, and live performances at the Super Bowl were signed. But what about those resources for the hard of hearing and deaf community here in Iowa City? The American Sign Language Club at the University of Iowa hosted a panel on Tuesday night to offer the perspective of deaf patients. The goal was for healthcare students to attend so they could be more aware of how to help patients that are deaf and hard of hearing.
Like if I had a provider who was like talking to my interpreter and not looking at me, I'm like, oh, am I even here? Like, are you even caring about what I have to say?
The panel expressed frustration, saying that oftentimes they are overlooked in any emergency settings.
I hope that our future will change. I do hope.
The future for the deaf community can be changed if more people begin learning to interpret.
To not only have that perspective, but, to mingle with them, to learn from native signers.
The university provides resources such as the ASL Club and weekly conversation hours to initiate that change.
These conversation hours are really important because students can come and they can feel comfortable and build confidence discussing a number of different topics.
This panel strongly advised everyone who attended to take ASL classes and maintain those skills by communicating with the deaf and hard of hearing community. From the IMU, Tara Gillespie, DITV.
Following the showcase of her exhibition, Facing the Inferno, wildfire photographer Kari Greer visited campus to talk more in depth about her work. Since January, the Old Capitol Museum has displayed Greer's exhibition on wildfires, where it is up to the viewer to interpret the meaning behind her pictures. However, with her recent visit, Kari went behind the scenes of her photos and the importance of the firefighters in them.
I want to give them that appreciation by really photographing them at work doing exactly what they do and let the public see that and know, yes, somebody's out there handling this fire for our community.
With her photography, Kari emphasizes the process of being a firefighter and the risks they take for their communities, with the goal of shedding awareness in mind. The University of Iowa Libraries is continuing to keep the exhibit Making the Book Past and Present relevant. DITV's Ryan Lynch followed up with the latest programming for the exhibit. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll have the story up right away. For the first time, the state of Iowa is hosting a contest where Iowans decide the coolest product made in Iowa. Nominees will be announced on April 19th, creating a March Madness style bracket where votes are cast. Iowans will get to choose between products ranging from Blue Moon ice cream to John Deere tractors. The winner will be selected on June 5th. Now, I'm not an Iowa native, but I kind of want to participate in this.
I'm not either. I've never even seen anything like this, but it's pretty cool. I mean, I might need to see what Blue Moon ice cream is all about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't exactly know what to expect, but I like anything to do with March Madness and competitions.
And ice cream. I would say ice cream a lot. I'm a big fan of sweets.
I'm not. Thank you for joining us or listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at thedailyiowan.com.
For Avery Ahrens and Colin Carruthers, I'm Hannah Lipsky. See you again on Friday morning right here on DITV.
you.